Hello. Hello. Um, hello. I'm still trying to get into this. Um, I'm trying to invite you people, but then somehow it's showing. Are you online?
Hi, Saurabh. Hello. Saurabh?
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello.
Hello, Shujat.
Hello.
Hi, Sujat.
Hi. May I know who's this?
Yeah, this is Mansoor here.
Hi, Mansur. How about you?
Where's Saurabh? Can you hear us, Saurabh?
I'm unable to hear you guys properly.
Uh, check the settings on top. Hi, Saurabh. Hello.
Just a second.
Saurabh?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me? Whoa, there's a 5 minute delay.
Actually, you guys, the voice is
Hello.
fragments. Are you guys able to?
Hi, Sujat. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me,
Can you hear
Mansoor
me?
or Shujat?
Saurabh, can you hear me now?
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Still not
Yeah,
sure if this is in
Saurabh.
stereo.
Yeah. Now I can hear you guys.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. Three of us, 40 more to come.
Okay. Again, the voice is cracking. I could hear both of you each. I mean, Mansoor and Shujat.
Great, yeah.
Yeah. So, actually, one thing. Hello.
Go ahead, Sujat.
Yeah. Actually, sort of like the meetup, what the first meetup what we are having now for UI UX designers. So it's really great to start. Like, is there any agenda which we are for which we are here, or just a brief discussion which we are about?
Planned up an agenda. So, the agenda that we are planning with just introducing ourselves first. I mean, what we are doing, what are we interested in, and then let's move on to what do you say? Talk about UX in general first, and what do you say? User experience, what we think about it, and then move
Okay.
into and I mean what we real design is and how we are going to help it. So I'll be having I'll float them around, and then we can actually discuss among them among ourselves on those topics. And I think there will be less users anyways. I think Google has added. Google, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Rule
Yeah,
of
so
thumb. Hi, everyone. This is Mansoor here.
Okay, there is some technical problem in on my part. I guess I'm not able to hear you guys properly. The voice is cracking.
Saurabh, we can have a rule of thumb. Anybody
Yeah.
who's not talking can mute their mic.
Hello. All right. Is everybody able to hear me?
yes.
Yep.
All right. Hello. This is a general guideline. I mean, whenever you want to talk, just unmute your mic, and whenever you're not talking, just mute it. Right? I mean, like the problem is like the speakers create an all right. So, is there anybody who's not able to hear me?
I think we're all fine.
Hello. Brief agenda what we're thinking right now, how to proceed. I mean, this is the first time. So let's say, I mean, so I'm Saurabh. I'm from ITL Engineering. I'm, I mean, I've been doing design since my second year. As an interact last 1 year, interact front-end web developer, and then I've slowly moved up. Okay, I guess the voice is breaking. Is that the case with everyone? Hello? Okay. I think Shujat can hear me. I'm having problem.
Saurabh,
Yeah.
hello. Saurabh, sorry to say, the voice is,
Yeah,
I
Shujat.
mean, it's very breaking. I don't know why. And even it's a bit lagging also.
Or every guys talk to each other
Uh,
and find out.
okay. So, are you able to hear my voice?
Yep, I'm able to hear yours.
Mansoor, is there any breakage while I'm speaking?
Nope,
So that we can confirm,
it's
like,
smooth, yeah.
the problem is from which end?
I believe I believe Saurabh's upload speeds may be low. Saurabh, can you do a quick test? See what your upload and download speeds are?
Yeah, all right. Just a second. I mean, like it's supposed to be very good, but then just let me. Okay.
Sure. Take your time. In the meantime, guys, should we talk about how horrible UX is on Hangouts? It's probably the worst product ever, right? Anybody with me on that?
I'm sorry. The one.
Yeah. Yes, Mansoor, please go ahead.
I was saying, shouldn't we be talking about how horrible Google Hangouts is?
Yes.
It's the worst UI. I mean, overall experience is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say? I mean, from all the products Google ever made, right?
Yeah.
Hangouts is the most, you know,
Skype- sorry. Skype seems to be much clearer compared to this what we are having Hangouts.
not of the call quality. I was like, it's not integrated, right? You
Mm.
have chat going on in the email, and then you have another chat here, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then when you get initiated, it doesn't even alarm you very well.
Mm-hmm.
It rings maybe once or twice and then stops, right?
Yeah.
I used it every day. I mean, mostly I'm online like about 12 hours to 13 hours, and this is the worst product ever. I don't know when friends come by, when they leave messages. After a bit of time, I just go back to email. When I see some, missed calls from them. I wouldn't even have heard about it. There's no alert system. It's horrible, yeah. Akula?
Hey Mansoor, Shashi here.
Hi, so we were just talking about Hangouts and how bad a product it is. What do you think?
Um, if you have broadband good, there's nothing to complain, I guess.
No, I was not talking about the call quality. What
Okay.
about the user experience?
I think, yeah, I don't use Google Hangout much.
Okay,
So, yeah. I'm a Skype user, so
right,
I
right.
prefer.
Skype is ultimate in the sense it's got everything integrated, right?
Yep.
It's not discrete. You don't have chats going around.
Yeah.
I have one chat that's open in Gmail and
Hmm.
another one that's happening within this group, right?
Yep.
And then, uh, and if I have to share my screen, it pops up another window.
I found that once when we're doing it for one of the session, and screen share was like very weird. I I couldn't figure out that my screen was being shared.
Exactly. And the time as soon as you get in, your video starts streaming, right?
Exactly.
How embarrassing can that be? Like, you know,
Yeah.
even though they want you the first time, but you don't get that all the time, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Um, I mean, um, uh, I, I, I wanted to know all of you. I am. I'll introduce myself here
Sure,
until
go ahead.
Saurabh is ready there. I'm Shashikant, and I'm from Hyderabad. Uh, I have been working in design since 1996. I've been part of advertising. I've been part of IT. Uh,
19, since when? 19?
1996.
96.
Yeah, I'm, I'm,
Okay,
I'm, a, I'm a school dropout and then started off working on my career in design.
okay,
And
okay,
yeah, been part of advertising for about 5 years. Then I moved into the IT. Worked
okay,
in various sections as web design, ERP, e-learning, and the application product design and all.
okay,
Now I am into a lot of conferences related to UX. I've been part of UX India, Development Summit recently, and
okay.
next year I'm leading the India Hyderabad IA Day for IA institution.
Can you be a little louder? Yeah?
Yeah, is it not audible now?
No, no, just losing you in the ends. Didn't hear
Um,
where the next conference you were saying was?
it's in Hyderabad, India,
Okay, okay.
and it's an information architecture day. We're
I see.
celebrating it all across the world. It's at 38 locations, and this is initiated by IA institution, and we're doing it in Hyderabad at ISB.
Right.
Yep.
Currently you employed somewhere?
Yeah, I work for Entity Data.
Okay.
Yeah. Hyderabad.
Right, right. Well, I'm a consultant, a UX consultant. I have I've been doing design for about 1997 after I finished my engineering, and I thought programming was not my cup of tea. I was very interested in design as such. By 2000, I kind of caught up with the entire usability, user experience, interaction design. You know, reading up a lot on online and getting trained. Did my HFI training and then cleared that in 2003. So it's been, I guess, 15 years now, 15 plus years into UX design.
Okay.
Uh, I'm a director for a company in the Middle East right now, and we have a team of designers and specializing in UX and graphic design. I also consult for a lot of companies. Right now I'm in Chennai, and I do consult for a lot of companies all at the same time. apart from the Middle Eastern company. Many of them are startups who kind of need the initial push on. They kind of want to come and join the bandwagon of UX design as such and see what all the fuss is about. Because they keep reading UX can make them better,
Yep.
but they don't know where to start and they don't know what to do.
Mm.
UX is not a magic wand. So
Unfortunately, not.
that's probably something we got to tell them initially. But then and you can't do without it either. So
Yeah.
there's a fine line playing in between. But yeah, to start off, many people don't understand what UX is or user experience is. I come from a background where, we gave this, we had different terminologies before. We used to call it usability, then we had, uh, you know, then we had interaction design.
Mm.
Then one chap said interaction design was not good enough. We should be interaction architects, right? So because because if you look at a proper, if you look at a proper metaphor, then architecture is the closest field that can come for somebody doing UX design, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Right.
It's probably the closest. So when I talk to somebody who's totally non-IT, I would say, think like I'm an architect for a building, right? I give you drawings, I give you markups, and then there's the guy who actually builds the building, the developers, automations, or you know, there's the graphic
Yeah.
designer, the interior designer, things like that. But still, people don't know what UX is.
Yeah.
User experience terminology came right after Apple brought it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There
How
was a
many?
guy who actually had the post of user experience architect there, right?
Right. Who's
Yeah.
that?
Uh, I'm not sure, but was he Norman? Donald Norman?
No, no. Don Norman and was Wilder Nielsen's group, right?
Yeah, yeah. Nielsen Norman Group.
Yeah. So both of them are, you know what they are actually originally?
No.
They are
uh,
psychologists. Psychology. Their major is psychology. But then there was a field called human computer
Interaction.
interaction. Yeah, and human computer interaction is a psych paper. It's not a computer science paper at all. It's where they talk about human minds and cognitive theories and how people perceive things, right?
Yeah.
It's very old school where the entire foundation started with usability or ease of use. Here we are talking about user experience, which is such a very, 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 very broad term, and people still don't know what user experience is. Let's
Actually.
let's take a call. Let's see how many of you know what user experience. You go ahead first.
Hello.
Sarah,
Yeah. I'm sorry. There was a network problem, I guess.
go ahead. Tell us what user experience is.
All right. So when it comes to me, so I actually started out as a designer. I mean, I
Right,
started out as a graphic designer initially. I wanted to actually make the hostel T-shirt in my college.
right,
So I actually went to a website and started making it online there. And then it so happened like the design that I made, those guys didn't accept the hostel committee and all. And then what happens? I wanted to, those guys made a design, and there were some comments on it that come on, go and make it in Photoshop. So I started learning. Basically, I was intrigued by that. I wanted to do the designing. So I went on and learned Photoshop in my summers, and then I started graphic designing, and then I started front-end web development. So when I was doing front-end web development, I was browsing through resources and all, and actually it was that time when I got to see these things. I mean, these are like the buzzwords, right? User experience and user interaction. So this was something that was available everywhere. UX, UI, wherever you go and read, it was there. So I started researching about that, and that is when I realized that it actually is how a person reacts to design. Design is just not a what do you say, what do you see? It's how something actually. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so that is when I started realizing that, and then I went through some more blogs and all about. Yeah, it started as that. What do you say? That buzzword, and then it started intriguing me. I mean, like I was working as an intern somewhere as a front end developer, but this thing fascinated me a lot. And then I went on searching more about it. I searched some online video tutorials, there's blender.com and all, and then I got in more deeper into it. And then I told my what do you say, the company that was I working with as an intern that I'm going to leave the developer position because I want to get more into user experience. Basically, I want to. I always been fascinated by this aspect. Like
Right,
there is more to it. There is more to it. Basically, you can actually make it user friendly. You can
right.
make it easy. And so for me, what is UX, right?
Yep.
I think that's the way how we, I mean, like as a designers can actually change the world. I mean, like changing the world would be a very big term, would be a very generic thing. But then what we are saying is like there are many people, for example, as a personal project, I was thinking about, my mom, for example, she doesn't know English that well. Okay, she's from a Hindi medium school and all,
Right,
and she cooks really well.
right,
Now, what I had in my mind, what you say, in the summers that I went, is like even though she doesn't know English, she is worth. I mean, she actually browses through Facebook completely. I mean, even without knowing any English, she can actually browse through completely Facebook, and she actually plays some NFS games also. So it's
wow,
like even though a person doesn't know anything, he can actually use technology, and
right,
technology is for everyone, and it's up to us to make it so easy for them that they should be able to use it. So
right,
that is what I think. We should be able to bridge the gap between the people who cannot use the technology with the technology.
right. What would you say is what is the difference if I told you that, in a kind of a definition way, what would you
Mhm.
think is difference between user experience and interaction design or UI design? What's the difference?
I think UI is a very small component of user experience.
Okay,
User experience is like riding a, what do you say? It's like riding a, awesome wala car, and user interface is like just like a dashboard of it. So it's more of a feel to it. User experience has a more feel to it. User interface is just the, what do you say, what's there on the screen, right? And how you
right,
feel is the user experience. How seamless it is, that's the user experience. What we are showing, that is user interface. And about interaction design, I think that's also one of the components of it. What I think is user experience is a generic term, and UI and interaction design are components of it, more or
Can
less.
I can I like extrapolate on what you say and call user experience design as an umbrella term,
Sure. I do
right?
think so.
So
Yeah,
it has all these things. The interaction needs to be good, the visual design needs to
exactly,
be good, right? The
exactly,
ease of use needs to be best, right? So all
exactly.
these give you the experience. That's awesome, right? But
True.
for user experience of the whole to work, each of these components need to work very well, right?
Yeah.
Each of these design uh, verticals need to perform at their best. Now, when it comes to user experience design, one thing that people mistake is when you asked, of course, you kind of define it that this is everything to do about the experience, but what UXD is actually a process.
Mansur, I mean, I have a different opinion on that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Good.
well, see, I feel the user experience is something which is deriving out of a process, and it's not that you're actually creating a user experience directly. You're actually using a user-centered design process to derive at a user experience part of it. I mean, as Mansoor said rightly, that it is an umbrella which you're actually creating for a user by using the design methodologies. And I
Okay.
think the user experience term is coined very weirdly in the entire market. I mean today I have I have met so many people that all of them call themselves as user experience designers, but then what are they doing? I mean, when we ask, they're just talking about the front end development. Sometimes they're talking about something which their client has developed and they're just integrating it at.
Exactly. I
I mean,
even saw an ad
Indeed.
for a UX developer. How crazy could that be?
and the whole business the business unit managers also are talking in the same language where they're saying, okay, I need somebody who's with capability of HTML5, CSS3, and all such uh, front end platform frameworks, and along with that, I should also need a guy who has a brains to make user interface intuitive. I
Right.
mean,
I actually also saw a job description which required jQuery and Ajax for a UX design.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
see that a lot.
it's getting so weird and so scary outside that uh, are really people really taken the user experience as a real term, because user experience is being practiced by two different people these days. One is the startups, second one is hackathons also. I mean, they are also creating user experience there. It's not no different than a designer. I mean, it's again going to the square one point where they say designers that who put colors to the interfaces. I mean, they have
Right.
to that reach now. I mean,
Let me also add to that, Shashikant. What you said is true, but the user experience design that I am talking about as a process is not limited to user-centered design. Okay, user-centered design is a part.
okay,
What is user-centered design? Where we have customer focus, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
What about the business focus?
I mean, customer focus is deriving the business, right?
No, there is business-driven design. There is a lot to do with what the company wants to do.
Yeah, but then the desire of fulfilling a customer is what is deriving at your product,
So,
the service that you're deriving.
no, what it does, what the business does is it sets boundaries. Okay. Now, what you will derive from the user is only enough to match the business. I'm sure you'll agree with that, right?
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
you don't go beyond
I
that.
agree
You don't
to
go.
some extent, but then what I want as an answer here is, uh, what do we call when we are deriving to serve a particular service and we are converting that into a product or service? What do you call that?
See,
Isn't
what
that
does the business ask you? What does it ask you?
I
It
mean,
actually is sponsored by the business. It's not sponsored by the users.
yeah,
So the business has some targets, some goals, right? Or any product has, let's say Facebook or Gmail. What does it ultimately want? Of course, you are making it easy for the users and you do the user-centered design process, but that process is only user-focused. The minute you finish that part, you also have to look at what the business wants.
I think
You
that's the
cannot,
whole part of it, right? Hello?
sorry?
Yeah, I think as a user experience persons, I mean, like, we should not just consider our end users as our users. I also suppose, for example, if you're a freelancer,
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. That's
I
exactly
mean,
what happened with
even the other
Apple.
stakeholders are our users, right?
Exactly. Now let me tell you the big picture. When did this user experience term come? It came when Apple changed everything. What did Apple do that others didn't do? It was
Graphical.
the top. top Walkman, top music, player industry. Who was the top guy at that time? Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony was the top guy, and he made electronics like no other. He saw such awesome gadgets that were never built before, right?
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened that this guy took care of that changed the entire world? Not just using solid state as memory, right?
Yeah.
Even Sony started that, but they were not. They were all competing in the same, same space, but Apple had a whole different thing.
He actually had the whole ecosystem in his mind, right?
Absolutely right. So when you talk about user experience design process, it means right from conception of the design makes it easy for the manufacturers to put it together, makes it easy for transport, makes it easy to be shelved, makes it easy for the customer to experience it, makes it easy for the customer to buy the product, makes it easy for the customer to get content for that product. We are forgetting that's the major chunk that he did. Major chunk was to bring content for the product. Steve Jobs, he brought in a committee one day, and he brought all the top producers, and he said, "I'm going to change the market by offering a song for $1, right? For $1. If you
Yeah.
sign up, it's great for you. If you don't sign up, you're going to be at a loss." And he was
Piracy.
forceful that everybody started writing about that, right? Remember? But what he told the producers was this, and the producers said, "We're going to push the entire album. If people start choosing one or two songs in the album, who'll buy the whole CD?" So in response, Steve Jobs said that one or two songs will fetch you enough revenue to not only cover the entire CD, but it'll cover, more than that, right?
Yeah.
It will cover the entire shipment, he said. So that's what. So not only creating a product to listen to music, like you very rightly said, created the ecosystem. So he looked at all aspects of the product. Like how are these people going to experience it in the shop? How are they going to take it home? How is what their buying experience? That's why he created the Apple stores, right? So
Yeah.
that you experience the product. Then when you take it home, you can continue to experience the awesomeness by getting music very easily at a very cheap rate. At that time, university students had no way of getting a soundtrack for $1. And you know how many people were busted, right? For having downloaded songs. You remember that time?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember.
There were so many lawsuits worth millions of dollars. Parents just couldn't take it because their son had downloaded songs from the internet. The music industry sued them left and right? And
Okay.
exactly at that time, Apple came in. And he said, $1 anybody can spend and buy his music. They will no longer come and they will no longer pirate music. It changed the industry in the US. We don't have such laws. I mean, in India, people still download music off the internet, right?
Yeah.
And there's a huge music industry which is going for a loss all the time. They're not making as much money as they should because of that. But anyway, he's a genius in this because he had not only marketed his product, he marketed other things as well that went into his product. In the US, even the packaging, right? If you just put it in water, it will dissolve.
Okay.
The entire inner packing of it'll dissolve. It's the first kind of very eco-friendly packaging. Why would he ever think like that? Because that's the experience he wanted to give, right? In all aspects of design. So just to add to what Shashikant was saying, user experience design, apart from the user-centered design, also covers the business aspect, right? And
Yeah.
it's a wholesome process.
Yep.
So today, when we are going and looking at small, let's say an app, nobody is looking at the other aspects. Nobody is looking. If somebody wants a multimedia app, or let's take some chat app, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at what a chat app can do. How many of you look at what content should go in and where the content should come in and how the content should get into that chat? Nobody looks at it, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
with that aspect, I'll tell you, Mr. Vinay,
Yeah,
I've been seeing this content issues a lot actually. I mean, when you talk about whether it is a YouTube or whether it is a Google search results or an image search or something in Google, these are very dangerous things for the kids actually. Now, when you're searching for a specific content in these areas, like fills up with the adult data there. And
very true.
I have my kid who's just 2 years, and he browses my tablet, and he sees all of the YouTube childhood things. I mean, all the rhymes and all. But then in between, I mean, he doesn't know what to click, and he sees all of the videos after the play is over. And one day he literally opened a new video. Luckily,
Absolutely,
there was nobody in the video. I mean, there was nobody in the room to watch it.
absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, I have been seeing this problem with many of our music people also, where they produce their videos and all, and they produce it back. I mean, they publish it. But then when they actually complete their video, at the end, it's creating a hell lot of a problem for them also. I mean, it's not only the video which is playing as part of your any of these small sites or something, but when you talk about the religious sites also, when you look at it, there also the videos are getting played from the video YouTube, but the end of the video you have all of those suggested videos after that.
2014 saw a change in that. There are two things now. What YouTube has done, at least as far as YouTube is concerned, I can tell you, I can vouch for them a bit. A bit. I can't vouch for them completely. Their filters are working much better now. There is a switch off. You can switch on the filter. It's available, and it does quite a good job now. And the other thing is, when you have videos that you're publishing by yourself, there is a place where you can say, do not display related videos after this is over. There is a setting. So I guess awareness, is required, and you can all turn it off in all your devices, right? And kind of helps improve. And whenever you see something, see the billions of videos being published every day. YouTube has a big challenge at its hand.
Hmm.
What it tries to do is to give the control to the users. You see something that's offensive, let us know. But how many times do we use the flag, right? So
And
first turn on the filter.
sure, I mean, I have been using a lot of report
No,
abuse
I'm not telling about
platforms.
you. I'm just
No, no,
generally
I'm just
telling.
saying that.
Actually, guys, do you see here? Here, there's a contradiction between the user and the business. So YouTube could actually wants its users to view more videos. So it's showing
Yeah,
you some more videos at the end of a particular video. So that's
right.
the business aspect. And here, the user, as he's saying, he doesn't want to see those videos because he doesn't have the control over the videos that he's being shown, especially
Absolutely.
when he's on the other side. So what can we guys do to manage both of these things? I mean, can we think over it right now?
The one thing that or let us say it's by default thing, right? is to make use of the crowd. The crowd shows the crowd to actually flag these videos, right? The minute you flag them, there is
Mhm.
data getting collected. So if a particular video gets flagged more than 3 times, then then it gets pulled down, right? And there's somebody
Yeah.
manually reviewing it and all that. But the three
But
times
then,
should happen.
but then the people, but then the number of people actually flagging in, I think it's very less compared to the number of videos that are
Now
coming
there's
up.
the motivation that doesn't happen, right? So why? So parents like us who are aware also, we don't do it. We see that it's a bad video, but then we just leave it. We shut the computer down, or we just say we just move it out of our sight, and out of sight is out of mind, right? Then you're not bothered after that. But it is a problem. It's a huge problem, and having moderators also is not the solution, right? How can somebody sit and watch millions of videos a day? Even that is a problem.
Yeah.
So I guess the world is just moving on. There are intelligent systems being built,
Yeah.
which is trying to look at flesh color and like that.
I mean,
There is
Mansur, I mean, there's one point that I work with taxonomy a lot,
okay.
and I feel that these guys should do something with taxonomy mandatory fields where they define such contents in a right relevant way. I mean,
Very true, but they are misusing it also. See,
exactly. I mean, yeah,
the publishers of the other, kind, they're misusing it. They don't want to give the actual. They will say nursery rhymes, and here you'll see Jack and Jill doing all kinds of stuff.
yeah.
So
I mean, like you said, there are about three hits that you're making. So
yeah.
in that similar context, they should work out on a procedure of priority when it comes from a given category of a refusal Android abuse report. I mean, it should be one
Ah,
particular
no,
thing
that's
that
what a
defines.
brilliant system came out of. This is a European research center, okay,
Okay.
uh, and they have come out with their own browser and stuff like that. Their algorithm is like this: it looks for skin tones, okay, and there is a percentage of skin tone that it recognizes, beyond which it will say the person is overexposed, right, and will
All
put
right.
down the video immediately. So, and that system requires only one flag, right? But that is what they are suggesting is this personal browser. It's like you having your personal YouTube,
Hmm.
okay? So all the things that you have flagged will automatically never come back to you, of course, and uh, and the sensor it actually looks at the video, when it comes to you before it gets delivered to you. So it doesn't need to look at the 1,000 million videos that are available on YouTube, right?
Yep.
So when it gets routed to this particular browser via their server, it'll get, it'll just block. Now, it'll block and you will see nothing but a black square there. There will be a placeholder. Now it's left to you to either, unlock it and have a look at it or let it pass. So now there's a little more interaction involved, right?
Hmm. Right.
So ordinary kids and all will not trip over it. They are saying if you can even have a password.
Exactly.
So you can have your own password, set it up in that browser, and use only that browser.
So this brings me to another thought that I was talking with. There's a guy who's doing PhD in interaction design here in IT Bombay itself.
Right.
So once I was just discussing user experience with him and what all are the fields, or what all he is exploring and all. So there is one thing that he mentioned, and he specially mentioned about the curiosity, the sexual curiosity in the teenagers,
Right.
especially. Now, it's a fact that everyone is curious, right?
Right.
And there's nothing that we are specially doing about it. We are just leaving them to go and watch pornography. Now,
Right.
what do you guys think about it? What can we do about it? I mean, we know that they want to see, they're curious, but we don't even want to show them. I mean, like it's somehow unethical for us, right?
Okay, now that's the point. See, you are saying it's unethical for you, maybe due to religious or ethical point of view, doesn't matter, right?
Hmm.
But there are equally different kind of people who don't think that it's harmful. Okay, we
All
think
right.
it's harmful. We are convinced it's harmful. We know it corrupts societies, but there is an equal but opposite crowd, right?
Mhm.
So what's the big problem is implementing whatever we want to do, right? Some people say, why you're blocking my freedom, right?
Mm.
And the boy who's 18 has his freedom. But a boy at 18, if you talk to the psychologists, they'll say they are at a very impressionable age, right?
Mm.
They believe their rock bands are their ultimate, right? When you
Yeah.
grow up and you know the rock bands don't help you earn money, find a living, getting married, actually instead the rock bands become a problem for all this, right? By
Yeah.
that time you're
It
too
is like
old and you really
it is like a Maya designer actually, who doesn't find jobs so easily.
yeah, I mean, see what happens to these guys. I know somebody who like went gothic. Okay, he was he was an excellent graphic designer, but he wore black, right? And
Okay.
nothing apart from silver rings or a silver cross, and he wanted to be dark. He is not a dark guy. He's fun to be with. He jokes all the time. He's not a goth, or he doesn't have that psychology at all in him, right? Guess
Yeah.
what was the
Yeah.
problem? Guess what was the problem? He hated his father. That's it. That's it. Why did he hate him? Because his father stopped him from everything and everything. Why? Because he was a priest.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. As a symbol of standing up to his father, he did all this. So it took more than one girlfriend to finally get him into the colors, right? One fine day, I see him wearing all colored t-shirts and jeans, and I'm like, boy, you're in too much color. You were black and white before, now you're like totally the other way around. And he was telling me, like, so, I mean, again, all this is like, what can I say? There are so many personal things, so many ethical things. Ethics here are not same ethics as in the US, right? There's
Yeah.
cultural differences. I mean, there, an elder man is equal to a friend, right? Here, we respect our elders. We like stand up when they come, and you know, nobody makes us do it, but we just feel that, man, he's a man of experience. Let's give him some credit, right?
Yeah.
Most of our movies, they talk about this homeless guy. He's almost like a beggar, but then they show magic when he speaks English, right?
Yeah.
And then they will say, you know how he was in his younger days. Why do they do that? They want to reiterate that concept, There's maturity. Maybe he looked like you know, he looked like shit, but he has enough experience to, do away with everything that's there. And he's in the sad state of affairs. Why do they do that? It's a cultural thing. But coming back to what we can do about porn and other things, interaction design, it's not in the control of interaction design. It's more of a lot of other things, right? And it actually makes use of the best psychology. Okay,
Mm.
phone industry makes the best use of psychology. No user experience designer can be as great as a guy as somebody who designs phone website,
Sir, I
right?
mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, we would have to ask these guys whether they are married or not first.
No, I'm just telling you that they are the best in advertisements. They are the best in design. They know their users very well. All said and done, right?
Mm.
They
True.
know. They are the guys who can see how they are infiltrating. You can learn from them. You can learn how to entice people into stuff, right?
Yeah.
Learn from them, but in a positive way. I don't mean guys don't go around watching porn now just to learn. I'm just saying, see, they're the best in that. All the money, the buck, the glamour, the way they shoot, they talk, everything is to entice. What are the number of programs that are there to entice people? Umpteen number of them, right?
Mm.
And I'm just thinking and I'm talking to you right now. I'm not, I'm not done a study or anything. I'm just thinking about all the ways they entice people, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
mind-boggling, right? The minute you
Yeah.
enter internet, there's a guy calling you, from somewhere, the darkest corners. Hey, come, have a look. We can't do that to our legit stuff.
Persuasive design.
Yeah, so persuasive, unbelievable. You
There's a
have to
whole
click.
field of persuasive design. I mean, there's some professor called BJ Fogg or
Okay.
something. I mean, like he has that whole set of what do you say principles how you can actually persuade users to actually get into uh, your portal. Uh,
Right.
Let me just search it. I would just want to share that link.
Mansoor and Saurabh, I guess we're not. We'll have to hear Gokul and Sujat talk. I
Yeah.
mean, they've not been talking at all. I mean, oh, they're not
Silent,
sleeping.
silent spectators. Siddharth, you awake? Gokul?
Yeah, yeah, I'm awake. I'm awake. Am I clear
Great.
first of all? I just like to ask that.
Go ahead, Gokul. Let's hear an intro from your side.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm clear. Am I clear, guys?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. My name is Gokul. See, I started out as a fashion designer. I did my UG in fashion designing. I worked as a fashion designer for 1 year, and then I moved on to Bangalore to study multimedia, where I studied Maya, all those After Effects, and all those editing softwares. And I'm right now a front-end designer. Well, this was out of self-interest that I learned. I learned HTML, CSS step by step. I got a job in Bangalore where I was working as a graphic designer first. I didn't get a job in multimedia, as in 3D animation and stuff. So I got a job in graphic design, and there I trained on websites how to go on with HTML, CSS, and jQuery, and I improved on to HTML5 and CSS3. And right now I do front-end development for a company in Chennai, and it's also there in Perundurai and Tirupur in Tamil Nadu. Um, that's it. That's it about me. I'm just a front-end developer, and I just wanted to know about UX and UI design, so I just dropped in over here to check out.
What's the name of the company in Chennai?
It's AdMonk. AdMonk.
AdMonk. Okay.
Yeah, the main office is actually in Perundurai, and my boss's uncle's office is over there. That's called Loudspeaker Ads.
I see.
Yeah, so they're
Right.
sharing the office over there, and it's basically a remote job. So there are 9 of us in our team, all of us working remotely from our homes.
Right.
That's great. That's great. I mean, actually coming from a developer, I mean, like if you're interested in user experience, that's a good thing. I mean, most of the, there is this thing about, developers versus designers.
Yeah,
Developers want to do just their work, designers just want to do their work. I mean, this
that,
is your work, this is my
that's
work.
true. That's true. Yeah, I actually was doing a job in Bangalore, as in not a job exactly. I left the job I was in, the proper office going job, and then we started up a small studio with my friends that was called Oxygon Studios. where I had to depend on a developer to do all the PHP work for Drupal and everything. So I actually got motivated to learn Drupal even a little bit, and then Code Igniter, and then OpenCart. Yeah, I do OpenCart a bit, things like that. So being a front-end developer, I get tempted to get into development as well. That's true.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, if you had to learn user experience design in the West, you have to take programming. There are two papers you need to do. Okay, that's heavy duty programming, like some database, maybe .NET or whatever, right? Or
Yeah.
PHP or whatever. You and Perl and CGI are no longer heard about, but those were some of the papers that you could take up. But you definitely had to program if you want to be there. If you want to do human computer interaction, you had to take those two papers. So it's actually great if you have the freedom to do that, because most of us, at some point of our time, let me at least speak about myself. We always had that, oh shit, now we can't get it done unless we're going to depend on this guy, you know. So actually, I got to convince him to do it the way I want it, you know. It's not easy designing unless you are at a company and everything is streamlined. But if it's not that, then nobody's going to listen to you, and you need to convince people why this design is better than what he figured was the best, right?
That's true.
So it's great to have power in your hands and to quickly put stuff together. Uh, I would really, since you're inclined, go towards a mobile side, go towards Android or iOS you can, but I guess you need a little bit of hardware investment there. But Android is something that you can just download for free and then try your hand at it. I'm sure you're going to turn out awesome on that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right. Actually, I thought, sorry to interrupt, but I just thought JavaScript was important for Android before getting into Android. So I thought I'll take some lessons on JavaScript and then move on to Android development.
Actually,
Super.
JavaScript doesn't. Android doesn't need JavaScript and all. I think it's all Java, just Java.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean, like
C,
just
C++,
in case you're thinking it's JavaScript, you're going to be, have
It's actually the OOPS concept. That's basically it, right? So
Object
whether it's
oriented.
Java, JavaScript, or C or whatever, right? So it's basically the OOPS concept. So if you object-oriented programming is a thing for you, you'll be able to handle it, right? I know a company right now who's actually training final year students, right? Computer science final year students, 6 months while they are in the last year, and 6 months right after after they come out of college, and they are creating Android and apps which are there today in the App Store with just this much training, right? So anybody who's just inclined, has an open mind, I think you should definitely try it out. You will have an edge above us. But of course, when you talk about user experience design, you creating those apps and making sure it is usable by the user is the most important thing in the cycle. Create an app, give it to your user, let him try it out. Whenever he finds a difficulty, make another version, right?
Yeah.
Keep iterating it. That's it. For developers, I would say go all the way, right?
Right.
Of course, you would be using all the concepts. You would be using most of the design concepts. And these days, Microsoft, Android,
Hello.
Google for Android,
Hello.
Apple for iOS, all of these companies are giving you UI guidelines. If you follow the UI guidelines, you're
Oh,
40% usable already, right?
Yeah.
Nobody achieves 100% usability. Nobody does that, right? If you have a designer on board, UX team, great experience, you probably could achieve 80%, right? That's 100% for us. And on an average, we kind of maybe go slightly above 50 to 55% usability, right? That's it. That's supposed to be awesome products, right? You can never go 100% because if you go 100%, it means that your target audience is a particular kind of people whose
Yeah.
age group is that, right? And their capability is that, and their knowledge is that. So only then you will have 100% usability. But when
Yeah.
you are
Heisenberg's
like,
uncertainty principle.
yeah,
It reminds me of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.
yeah. It's weird to impossible to match thousands and millions of people having different tastes, different cultures, different to all have 100% experience is next to impossible. Facebook would hardly be scratching around 30 to 40% usability levels, maybe even lower. Okay, but that itself is a great achievement. The fact that millions of people are on it and they're not making use of the entire functionality of Facebook. They're making use of the top level, top layer, and that itself is only 30 to 40% usability. Ease of use. Now, if you go give it to your grandfather, he's able to figure it out. That's what I call 100%. Right? Nokia phones did that, by the way. Right? Nokia phones were so simple, really aged people could still pump out an SMS. What do you guys think?
It's
I
a
agree
hundred
also.
percent true, Mansur, what you said.
Yeah, I mean those mobiles, but the functionality was less. Agreed. They were very minimalistic. You were able to only make a call or an SMS. But even those things have become very difficult in our smartphones now, right?
Right. The things are getting complex the way, I mean, though we are saying it's a smartphone era, the complexities are more like the user experience what we are having.
And touch is a failure. How many of you
Yes.
believe that? Touch is the most horrible interaction anybody can have. And why do you have millions of users there?
Why would that be? Why would that be? I mean,
Touch
I'd love
again.
to hear.
Touch
Why
again
would
becomes
touch?
a question like I mean, on what kind of hardware we are relying on.
No,
You
no.
know, for
Touch by
example,
itself.
devices like Samsung. Sorry.
Touch by itself is the worst
Okay.
possible interaction ever. Okay? Because there's no affordance.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel the buttons. You don't feel anything. You close your eyes, you're lost. Right? How
Yeah,
many
exactly.
times how many times let's talk about high end hardware, everything.
I mean,
How many
before
times
before you start on that point, I'll add one point here. I mean,
sure.
if touch screen is broken,
Yeah.
you cannot use it anything. You cannot use it. But the
It's a
thing is,
kind of
Yeah.
game over, and it's a nice wallpaper. It's a
No, but
nice wallpaper on your phone either.
we
So
can't
yeah,
we can't say that because any interface is broken, we cannot use it. Like a handbrake is
I have
broken, we can't use it.
seen
We can't
literally.
complete that way.
But
But
so, I mean, what I have seen is I have seen Nokia users in such a worse condition that even the numbers of they still.
see, I remember a guy. Okay, I remember a guy. He used to run towards the bus. Okay,
Okay.
now as he's running, okay, the speed of the bus is quite fast already. Now this guy is running, right? Now he actually got an SMS. Now he's got to reply to that. All right. Now as he's getting into the bus, and he's footboarding, by the way. He grabbed hold of the bar there, and
Mm.
with one hand he's finished replying. Okay, all this in All this in this action.
That's
It's
right.
very simple.
It's more
That's
user
it.
intuitive in that case.
The
Instead,
keyboard is it is memory, and they used to have these competitions, right? You remember, right? Number of words per second
yeah,
for SMS.
yeah,
The teenagers used to go, wild on them.
exactly. I
And
mean,
why?
I remember the SMS in the starting beginning days where mobile was not launched and used to have that small SMS messages coming up there, 1998 or something.
Right.
It just used to show you that numbers and all, and it used to be so much difficult making the I mean, you have to call the call center, tell the message, and they'll pass
Ah,
the
that is
message to
the
us.
pager. You're
Pager.
talking about the pager. So we had to call somebody, call center, and say, okay, he said, message please. I say, hi, I will meet you today, and he'll be typing, in the call center. And imagine passing love letters, poems, okay. And when Tamil came, that's it. People went all out Tirukural and all. I don't know if most of you know what Tirukural is, but it's like hi-fi Tamil poetry, okay?
Hope married people did not get a divorce there because the guy was trying to wish his wife first.
Oh, tell me about apologies now. Imagine if that's what his love letter was like. Imagine the apology. It is in kilometers. And all this in that small little screen, right? You keep scrolling and you're going to read what it says. Most likely, people used to hate it because the only message that will come worth it will be love messages, and the second will be, please call me at, and the number will follow. So you're going to go run, find a pay booth, and then put your money and call up. It'll be irritating. It's like somebody gives you missed call all the time, right?
Because the pager was free for people who are calling that number, but then for
Yeah.
receiving also they used to get charged, right? I mean,
No,
somebody
that was a monthly fee. I think that was around manageable, some 75 bucks a month or something very cheap like that.
exactly.
So it was a monthly subscription, so unlimited incoming some crap like that.
Yeah, you can go ahead. I mean, I'm sorry to deviate you, but then that
Yeah. So coming back to the touch, right?
Touch screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mansoor, one question.
Sure.
Yeah, about the affordances. No, don't you think the software is supposed to provide the affordances when it comes to touch? I mean,
Okay.
like,
Somebody
especially the
made
meditation.
the affordance. Some brilliant guy. It's already out. Somebody made an awesome way to give affordance for touchscreen. Okay. You
Yeah.
won't believe it, but he's done it. I was so amazed by it. Okay. But affordance with software, what can you give? What kind of affordance do you think you can give? Because it's not a single app, or you're not designing for a single app.
Yeah.
And the terrain for different apps is going to be different, right? Like, how am I going to recognize a bump versus flat? Okay,
What
now
can you
maybe you're talking about sound, right? Or some kind of feedback, right?
Yeah.
Now, how many numbers are there for you to dial, like 1 to 9, right?
Yeah.
And then 0, and then you have your, I can say, your hash and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
How do I know that I am touching the right number?
There is a feedback, right? When you press it, it shows that it's pressed.
Not only that, there is even voice these days.
Sound
But
also, yeah.
still, but still, I have to start with a mistake. I will first tap on something, and it will tell me where I am. Then I got to figure out the rest of the place. It's like those days when we had mobile Nokia phones. Have you seen on the number 5, there'll be a small depression?
Yeah.
You know why that is there?
Uh, just to feel it without actually seeing it.
Exactly, that's meant for the blind. Okay?
Yeah.
So you know the 5, and so now from 5, The top left one is 1, right above 5 is 2, right top corner is 3, like that, right? The one left to 5 is 4, right to 5 is 6, like that, okay?
All right, all right, all right.
That's to position yourself and you'll get it right the first time.
So we're talking when even if we cannot see it, but still we need to, use the app.
You should be out. Let's say you want to at least take the call. Let's forget about everything else.
All
All I want
right,
to do is just take the call, right?
all right, all right.
Now you need the headphones, then you need a button with the headphone. Only then you'll be able to take the call.
Hmm.
If you ask the manufacturers, put a button for that, that's a home button.
Yeah.
Why
I
couldn't
get the
I?
problem now.
Right, and it multiplies. Now we're talking only about the dialing part. It is still not over. So I tried to create a mobile app for the blind, right?
Yeah.
And we said, okay, forget it, man. Let's just feed it the numbers, right?
Hmm.
And then let's somehow, let him touch at least the corners of the screen. And he touches the right corner, it goes to his mom. He touches the left top corner, it goes. So that why this at least for emergency, at least for an emergency, he'll be able to make a quick call,
Yeah.
right? Now there comes along screen lock, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
iOS has so many constraints for you to write anything on the screen lock. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
lock screen. It doesn't work like Android, okay?
Yeah.
And we had so much trouble. I said, okay, finally we figured out everything. We somehow got in all the numbers. I got so pissed off. Finally, the guy is without touching. He's got a set of numbers. He's able to scroll to one. He'll be able to dial without seeing. Okay? He can call up his mom or his wife or somebody close to him without seeing. We got to that level. Check what iOS do.
Yeah.
You know what they did? They said no direct calling from apps. How
Okay.
irritating could that be? Now it will force you onto the generic
Setting.
dial pad in iOS.
Okay.
So we want to change. We want to make things better, but everyone should work together.
That's true.
If if the company Apple doesn't think it's important, then it's not happening.
Hmm.
Actually, Mansoor, I mean, I've seen one of the interesting thing from MIT thing. I think about a year and a half.
I think you're talking about the
Media labs.
spray, right?
I think so. I mean, they've created a bubble paper on top of the app actually. And
That's exactly what I was going to tell you. It's not a bubble. It's by a European company.
Mhm.
What they did was uh, on top of the glass, right,
Yeah.
where the keyboard has to come, they had minute packets of water. Okay, so
Hmm.
when the packets fill up, they will feel like a bubble.
Exactly. Right.
So
That's
this
what it was.
gave the affordance,
Hmm.
and they had a small electrical pump inside the mobile device, which actually filled water.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you look at the screen, you will never see that there is anything there. It
Yeah.
totally disappears.
Yeah.
When it injects the water, it'll bulge up.
Hmm.
This is what I was telling you was really amazing. This is one of the things that really
Wow.
changed a little bit, but it's specific. Like I said, no other app can use this. It's only meant for the keyboard.
Exactly. Exactly.
But a long time
While
back,
just
there was a
thinking
research.
about just a dialer or something like that.
You can use the entire keypad to type and all that.
Hmm.
It was People felt it was more. There was some affordance at least. Still, the blind couldn't use it. That's a different part.
Hmm.
But here, normal people could actually feel it, and they could click on something, right?
Yeah.
So
What
they
do you
were,
think about gestures? I mean, can those people, I mean, like, for example, the blind people, for example, there's a particular gesture which will make that person call, one person call, and there's another gesture which will call another person. So within the lock
no,
screen, if you make a
that's what
particular shape,
that's what we did finally. We did manage it with a combination of gestures and like that. Okay, but
okay.
it's not only about these two or three phone numbers. When you design,
Yeah,
you start
yeah,
with
yeah.
that you start with it, but you want to expand, right?
Scalability.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
like I said, finally we had to give up that project. But anyway, there's another very interesting project that came along, and this is for distress. So, what they call as SOS. Have you heard of what is SOS? What's
I heard
SOS?
about it, but maybe if you talk more, I might. Yes.
SOS is
It
meant
will
for
help out.
emergency. It's a key word for emergency. It's not an
Yeah.
acronym. It's not an
Oh,
acronym. People think SOS means something. No, it's not an acronym. XOS
okay.
came, sorry,
No, no, I thought that has an abbreviation.
no. SOS actually came from those days, from the telegraph period. Okay? Now you would have seen a lot of cartoons go beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
Have you heard that? Right?
Yeah, yeah,
And especially in the cartoons when there's an emergency, right? They will
yeah.
put this and they'll be like, I don't know, maybe Bugs Bunny or somebody hitting the telegraph, right?
Yeah.
This is the sound. Beep 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 means SOS. It's a distress signal. That's it. Okay?
Okay.
It's I don't know if you know telegraph, but it's like this.
No, I've not seen the telegraphs. So
I've
Did
not just known about it. I mean, that thing, Morse code and all.
yeah, so
yeah,
Morse code
I
went like this.
received a telegraph once. I mean, I remember that.
Yeah, Morse code goes like this. Did da. Did da.
Okay.
That's SOS,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So anyway, long story short, that's SOS, but people use it for emergency. So 911 is SOS, right? In the Americas. Now out here, 100 is RSOS, whatever. But ultimately, when we created SOS app, an app for emergencies, somebody came up with a brilliant problem, at least to solve one of the issues, right?
Yeah.
One of the major issues were, uh, women raped, right? That's a very
Yeah.
serious issue. And the problem with that is they don't have time to call, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes they have enough time to at least, let's say, pepper spray the guy.
Yeah.
It's not very popular in India, but it's getting popular.
It's
So
popular in
the
Delhi, I
number of,
guess. I mean, pepper
yeah,
spray is
it's
very
very
popular.
popular in Delhi. So it's getting there, but pepper spray is something that people, at least the women, are able to get hold of, or at least their instincts, you know, get them till that point. After which they spray, and sometimes nothing happens because you need to actually spray it in their eyes, or at least on the face, to get it to work, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing but a chemical which will drive your eyes crazy, right? Will burn the
Yeah.
hell out of your eyes. So at least that. So what these guys did, they kind of put a small chip on the pepper spray. So when you press that, automatically it'll dial 911 and your GPS location there. Everything is,
Yeah. Wow.
you know, so that's awesome, right?
That's awesome.
That's like, that's a design solution. See, that's why all said and done, when we spoke about UXD and whatnot and what, solution, we need to find solutions for the problem. People don't look at, if you call a designer today, he goes to the spot, he looks at the requirements, develops the, whatever design, and gives it to the client and comes. He does not ask the question, why do you need this? How is this thing going to help solve your problem? One guy said, I want my whole website into a mobile app. Why? You have a browser. Go to the browser and browse the website.
This is a very big problem in the whole world. I mean, when somebody is talking about
So,
responsive design, everybody will talk about responsive design.
yeah, no, at least that's good. Why would I
Responsive
want
design is
another
important.
app? I have only 8 GB or 6. I can only afford 16 GB of space. I don't want your crappy website to sit in it.
And moreover, I mean, the fundamental point is why would somebody download your entire site every day and look at it each and every page?
No, actually, he needs an app. That's it. It's a cover. It's not even the whole website offline. It's
No, I mean,
actually connecting every time.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's not even that. But it is an app. And tell me who are the biggest people who are doing this? You'd be surprised. You can't believe
I
that.
am dealing with a lot of big clients, and I see these requests are coming from there also. But then when we tell about the real story about the user issues and user bandwidth problems and all, then they're stepping back and thinking, and then they are stopping by that. At
Absolutely,
least,
absolutely.
yeah.
You know what? I was telling you about all the major IT service providers. All of them. Just go
Service
online.
providers.
Just go online. Every darn idiot has an app. Infosys, HCL. How you guys are supposed to represent the world. You guys are supposed to
I,
tell. Why
you
would I
know,
want to?
actually, this reminds me back like IRCTC, the
Yeah,
railway
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
They actually launched an Android app 2 days ago or yesterday, I guess.
I
So I
think
went on their app and saw who made it, and then again, it was not in use. They had to consult another foreign company
right,
to make it.
right.
So is it not kind of a shame? I mean, you guys have Infosys, you guys have so many IT giants with you, but still you're dependent on others to do this.
I mean, I'll tell you one instance here. We we've been helping. I mean, it was a trend at one time where IT is supposed to be taking some government responsibility projects and doing it as part of their infrastructure. But the problem was the guys they have hired to do such kind of jobs are higher value than the actual project cost. And literally you would not believe this guy is drawing more than 4 times salary than the actual project cost,
Right.
which gets accumulated. I mean, the payments also by the government people doesn't get paid on time. They pull it to 6 7 months or something, and
Yeah,
this is one of the biggest reason that IT step back and they pay better tax, but not the salary.
very true.
Yeah.
Talking about big design companies outside, right?
Yeah.
You all would have heard about Frog Design, right?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the Frog projects came back to me. Got fired by. I mean, the client didn't know what to do with Frog Design. The
Okay.
he's another big worldwide company. Everybody knows him. I don't want to name him. So this guy wanted to do an app, and mind you, it's a consumer app, right? It's what every consumer would use. It's an antivirus, parenting, all that put together one sort of package, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this huge company hires Frog Design to make their app more user friendly, so that people at home can use it. Okay?
Mm.
Now, so, and guess why it has come all the way, you know, uh, they've already spent millions, okay, to Frog
Mm.
Design, and after a lot of work, or let's say time, not work, after a lot of time, they got the ultimate, they got the designs, and they wanted to build it, right?
Mm.
So it landed up at HCL, and now the engineers at HCL, the developers, they were not able to figure it out. So ultimately, we were the only design team whole of HCL at that time. So it came down to my desk, right? So I had a look at. Let me tell you one thing that these fellows did, right?
Hmm.
They did trash, pure trash. The functionalities that needed to be on the surface were really buried. Like not one level, two level. You better have some two, three guys sitting and figuring it out. You're not going to find it as a user. You're not going to find it even as a what I can say techie guy. You're not going to find it. And I had to ask I had to ask the company again very seriously. Was there any business objective in hiding these features? I literally had to ask them that. They said,
Okay.
no, they are number one priority. This is what we want users to find. And it was buried at the four levels. Just my heuristic report was 120 pages.
Wow.
Just the report alone. And I had so much to write. Okay. The reason why I had to spend so much writing is they didn't give us the project. They only told us to develop it. The problem is that we see that there is a problem, right? A huge problem. If we develop based on these specs, you're not going to like it, right? So it was a
Yeah.
chance. It was a chance that we had to take, and we had to repropose design. So we did the heuristics. It took me, I think, 3 to 4 weeks to actually, make sense of it, right? And write a cross proposal for it. But ultimately, it was very simple that these fellows, they project huge, look at their appearances, right?
Yeah.
If you go online and you look at YouTube, look at the guys giving the lectures, look at, you won't believe it, among those top people who are giving lectures only did the product. Such a
Okay.
horrible job. I don't know where their heads are when they can talk so much about it, right?
Yeah.
So what I figured out finally, these are all media campaign people who are actually going in. These are marketing guys with
Sure.
degrees who are actually they are used in business development. So that's a whole new line of work for you. In case you are a user experience designer, right? You can get a much better job as business development, right?
Yeah.
And they will pay you heavily to make all these appearances, go to the conferences, do only the yak yak yak, right? They will pay you enormously. That's what they're doing. They have built up the guys who maintain the websites, right? And the blogs, right? These guys
Yeah.
know only that. They know how to write, they know how to entice. That's all they do, marketing. And
Yeah.
then when it comes to work, they don't do that. If there's any work, then they'll push it to the analyst guy or probably an intern, right? But talking
Yeah.
about that, I just got reminded, none of us have the opportunity to do usability testing. Have any of you done usability testing?
Uh, I've done it. I mean, like, not in a perfectly, what do you say, a strictly professional way. I mean, like, I don't know exactly how to do it, but then when we were working on the startup, I mean, whatever we made, actually, I brought it to this. I mean, like, it was a student-oriented, what do you say, product. So
Right.
actually, brought in students. I let them use it. I just observing them wherein they were, doing a mistake, and then we were trying to change the design. So that is
Awesome.
one that we really did it.
Awesome. Because you're not going to get any other than that. You're never going to get real users for any other products at any MNC That's for sure. Even for startups who are working for, are doing any kind of service work for any US-based or let's say Europe-based company, you're never going to see the users.
Even here, no one insisted. It was actually my idea. I wanted to do it, so that is the only reason we actually did it. And even now, I'm like, even they have I got a pre-placement offer there. So even after they knew that they had a guy who's a user experience architect, but still
Right.
they don't know what exactly they have to, do with it.
Absolutely. And the other worst thing is, let us say you do get all the feedback and all that. Unless you're in charge, none of it is going into the design.
True.
Unless you're in charge,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Even if the stakeholders weigh, and I have, okay, one more very interesting observation. Most of the times, our users are our buddies or colleagues who are sitting next by, right?
Yeah,
You,
yeah, that's
you
true.
call that guy, hey, come here, man. Have a look at this. What do you think, huh? Nice, huh? Cool, huh?
Actually, Actually, I went and searched for each and every guy that was there, including the clerk, including the ward boy.
Right.
I made them all sign up and test that thing. Hey,
Awesome.
you're right. Most of the time it's that. But luckily, we actually had a what do you say, workshops and seminars. So actually, students were coming to this company for learning and all for a workshop. So that was the case when I was lucky, to get those students and then do the testing.
Very true. You must test, and it's real. I happen to have this recently, one of the clients. Uh, it's for a cricket app, okay? It's for a
Okay.
very good cricket app, and they were, with their latest release, over the weekend, we saw 40,000 people download the app, okay? Now, 40,000 people downloading an app, trust me, through the App Store is very, very rare.
Okay.
Okay? It's very, very rare, and immediately the app became one of the top apps in the App Store for that day, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Obviously,
right. Because 40,000 is like crazy, it's just too much.
it's huge. Was it a
Now,
game?
yeah, it's a game,
Uh,
it's a cricket app. I can't tell you more than that.
yeah.
So the app, what happens is you have $40,000. Okay, I said that's huge, guys. Make the best use of it. I'm just entering, right? They want a they want a complete revamp and stuff like that. I'm just getting into the company, and they had budget problems. So they deciding whether or not yes to have no to, UX work, or depending on whether the developers are going to be free or whatever, whatnot, right? I
Yeah.
said, just give me the analytics. Just give me the, link to the analytics report, right?
Yeah.
And let me have a look at it, right?
Mm.
So these people, they didn't come back 1 month, second month, no news, right?
Yeah.
So I call up one of the guys who's inside and say, "Hey man, what happened? You guys were supposed to revamp the entire thing. What happened?" We had 40,000 people log on. Yeah. And he said, "Yeah, man, we're doing good." Okay. I saw your app and it doesn't look like that to me. I had my own doubt. So I went back.
Mm.
I opened the analytics, right? Guess what? It's running now. It's still running 200 people per day. Okay. And I'm
Okay.
like, this app must be doing something, right?
Yeah.
But I found it up. I couldn't take off from the home screen till the point where the gameplay was there. Okay, every time I tried 3 times and I recorded. I screen recorded the entire thing, right? And I still couldn't reach the gameplay. Even till date, I have not seen the gameplay. I mean, apart from what they had screenshots, right? I have not experienced. I have not gone till that point. So I was pretty amazed with the numbers. That's why I went on this, quest to find out what's really happening with the app, right? So I
Yeah.
get in, I see all the analytics, page by page, just top page, this, that. Soon found out the app was getting downloaded to see scores. It was not getting downloaded for the game. It was getting downloaded to see the scores of the match.
Okay.
Can you believe that? So I told them that you guys think it's a game, but it's not the game. You're attracting so many people because you've done a good job on seeing the scores, right?
Yeah.
Then they asked me, how are you saying this? I said, see, the maximum time that is spent on the gameplay page is 34 seconds. That's the max somebody spent.
Hmm.
Now you explain, I told it. Somebody's going to play a game that's less than 34 seconds, not even a minute. What do you think was attracting him to come back? And 20,000 had actually come back to the app. They are return visitors, right? It's amazing to look at data. So the point I was trying to make here is make best use of your analytics. One is of course user testing.
Advertisement.
User testing, that's yeah, we are able to do it. At least get our colleagues to do it, or probably just put the link on Facebook and see how many people are trying it out. But
Hmm.
if you want the inference, look at the analytics report. It's going to tell you something about what's happening.
Yeah.
And I told them, see, since you guys are doing so well at the scores, just keep this app, let it be a score app, make another app, that's probably better at gaming. Build on what people are liking, right?
Mm.
Because it was a startup, it was a 2-year-old startup, and imagine the amount of funding that would have gone to hold 15 people in it for over the 2 years. Just guess, right? How much of money? So why lose on it? Capitalize on where the app is getting, doing very well, and then take off, right?
Yep, Mansoor. And I think this discussion is a never-ending thing, and
Not anywhere close to the
yes,
agenda,
I
and it's going to be one.
like I mean it's almost close to one, and I think we
All right, guys. Yeah, it's almost it's about to be one, so we need to wrap up quickly. So, any other thoughts that you guys have right now? I mean, how was it? I mean, like, would you guys want to meet up again? Hello.
That's a definite yes.
And yeah, it's a yes for me anyway.
I mean myself and
So,
Mansoor has been talking more, and we've been seeing the other two are like being silent spectators, so we want them to
well, let's ask them if
maybe
they learned
join.
anything new.
Yeah,
Sujat,
Sujat.
Gokul,
Yeah, I was just a mere spectator over here. I just wanted to know about the UX and UI since I'm very new to these things, but it was pretty good. So I guess every week I could, just drop in my around the weekend or something. It would be great.
awesome.
Yeah, true. Agree with Google. I mean, what Google said. Like every weekend will be nice. Uh, the reason why exactly I'm here was, see, actually I'm basically a SharePoint developer. Uh, I mean, what we develop has to be perfectly. I mean, it has to be user relevant. Like what user is feeling about. So that was the main reason actually why I was over here. Like how exactly the user experience should be for what and all we develop.
You're saying how to design for the users, how best to
Uh,
design for
like,
the users?
yes, like how the user experience should be.
Okay, how it should be. It should
Huh.
be the way he thinks it should be, right? Like a
Mm-hmm.
user has certain expectations. Now, you need to understand his expectations and see if you can go over and above that. Let me give you an example. Do you remember the old email system that we had?
Email system from which provider? Like a Gmail or
No,
any
once
other?
before that. Once before. Do you remember when you had to like type in the address?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, we had a time when we had to write the two field. We got to fill it up. If you
Okay.
wanted the address book, that was a feature which was released by Yahoo, and I think before Yahoo, Hotmail released it, wherein we click a button and an address book will pop up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there were radio buttons or check boxes. You got to check them and include them. That was the first ever address book. Okay.
Okay.
Now, before that, there was no address book. When somebody wanted to write an email system, they thought of it like a postal mail, right? There's a to, a from, and content, right?
Yeah.
Simple. Now, in real world, what happens? Everybody has a computer. People sat in front of that. They didn't mind writing the to, right? The from was assumed, that is you, and you had to write the content, send it, right?
Yeah.
So this is how the developers envisioned the product. And as something that was helpful for people, it matched their expectation because their expectation was not great. It was supposed to be like post, but faster. Now you can send a message to US in a few seconds, right?
Like Mansur, what I would like to put one point is like how to, I mean, how to reach
I'm coming to that.
a large group of audiences.
I'm
With
coming
that
to that.
thing.
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
So what do you think happened? What was the difference? How did they ever think of something that can store the email IDs and give it to you when you want? How did somebody come up with that idea? Because they saw users. They saw users writing all the email IDs in a diary. And
Hmm.
they used to open it up, find it, and then type it out. Then they said, why not replicate this diary into the process? So similarly, how are you going to find whether the system is good for the users or good for the users? It's by observing them. It's called
Mm-hmm.
user testing, right? You put
Mm-hmm.
a couple of guys in front of what you've done on the app or whatever and see where all they're having problems. You should not help them. You should say, okay, like if it's for the email, let me use the same thing just to keep it simple. I've created a new program that sends email. So I'll say, here, go and write to Mr. So and so, this is his mail ID, send him an email, right? Task
Mm-hmm.
number two, reply to an email that has already come from so and so, right? These are the two tasks that I give him, and I don't even launch it. I just leave him at the desk, right? But if this is a specific
Mm-hmm.
software, I launch and give it to him. So at this point, after he's looking at the software, I don't help him one bit, but I watch it, right? And I watch
Yeah.
it. And he says, I don't know what to do. He says, you have given two tasks. Please have a look and see what you can do. He said, okay. He says, send mail to this person, send mail. That's all is running in his head. Send mail, send mail. Now the two words send mail should appear somewhere on the screen. Only then
Yes.
that will lock. Now,
Yes.
having said that, this is in a place where you are able to sit with the user in front of a machine. What about thousands of users, millions of users? It's no question, right?
True.
Now, what you need to
Analytics.
do, you can't massively have such a session with the millions of users. So you need to pick up a sample user, a representative
Okay.
user. Let's say you are targeting the youth in America. right? And the
Mm-hmm.
age is between 18 to 20, right? Right? So I
Yes.
cannot, now that will be a couple of millions. The demographic that fits a teen between 18 to 20 who is, Caucasian is going to fit a huge demographic. But I picked five people, minimum, right? I picked minimum
Okay.
five people, and because it is across America, I might pick one from the West, East, South, and North America, and the Central America, right? Just to keep,
Mm-hmm.
just let's see if there is any cultural or any other differences between the five. So now I run the same test, but I'm not there in America. So I got to do something called a remote testing, in which there's a camera watching the guy, right? These days you can use the webcam. Those days we had to set up a separate camera, okay? Or call them to something called a user testing laboratory, right? Those days,
Okay.
just before like what, 10 years back, this laboratories used to be there in every state. I used to invite the people, they will go there, they will go to the laboratory where the cameras are set. The camera, one camera is facing his face, the other one is facing both the screen and his, like as though you're sitting side beside him. The other one is
Mm-hmm.
showing only the screen content, right? And there's voice, and this is how, like a Skype conference, we see how he does, right?
Okay.
And we record the
Yeah.
entire section, the entire, those days, everything used to be VHS, VHS cassettes used to be there, okay? Very difficult job, not digital like today. Today, it's all digital. As I am recording, I can input my comments. There's software that lets you do that these days. So, as all the recording is happening, I can, either quickly put pins to or bookmarks to say I want to come back to this location because I'm still interacting with him. If I take time to type, then I lose on what he's doing, right? So immediately we'll bookmark that location and it continues to record. So once the session is over, we'll come back to the bookmarks and write comments. This is the place where he was trying to find it difficult to find the send button, or he didn't know that there is a button called send, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the button was named something else, okay, or done, or something, but he was not able to figure it out. So like this, we will fill all the comments, and the report gets printed out, and all the digital video, is all proof. And this itself, user testing itself, is a lot of money involved in this. There's a lot of time, right? That's involved in this. It's huge business by itself. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
So
And
this is called user testing, not UI testing. UI testing is different. When the interface is there, an expert will just click and see if it works the way it should. Like if there's a drop down, he will click to see if there's a drop down. He's able to see the options. He's able to click on an option. That's UI testing. But user testing, I record all the responses, all the chat. What is this? Or I hate this. Or I don't like the look of this app. Oh, I don't think I can do anything on this app just because it looks too complex, right? But you got to put the user at a very comfortable position and make him very vocal. That itself is a technique. You got to be a usability analyst to do it. Means somebody who has experience doing this again and again, make the user open up. So he keeps speaking as he uses the app. Let's say a typical user will never open his mouth. He will just look at it and maybe a couple of frustrations you can see. He's not going to be vocal about the app. You got to make him vocal, make him comfortable, so that he shares a lot of insights with you. So
Mm-hmm.
the top people like Don Norman or Nielsen, these are gurus in the world of ease of use, and they have recommended at least five
five.
Five, at least five. There's a website called useit.net. Try going to that.
Guys, there is one common question to all. So, how you are feeling difference between the Twitter's Bootstrap and the Google design?
Sorry.
Twitter's Bootstrap and Google's design, material design, what Google has launched.
Well, sure, we'll get back to that once Mansoor is done.
Okay.
What was the, you said difference between the Google material design
And Twitter Bootstrap.
Bootstrap?
Yep.
Okay, I've not heard about Bootstrap.
Okay, Mansoor just finish what you were saying, and then we'll discuss about that.
All right. So.
And yes, Shashikant, yeah, you can leave now, I guess. That's perfectly fine. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Mansoor. It was nice.
Thanks a lot, Diyan, for joining. Hope to see you again next week.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
So essentially, just wanted to tell you that this entire process is called user-centered design. Means everything, you look at the users, learn from them, improve your design, right?
Yeah.
Just to finish off on what Sujat wanted to know, but on material design, I don't know. Can you give a link on what Bootstrap is or what you're talking about?
So actually, Bootstrap is nothing but it's a simplified version of how to make a website. So it's like they've already made many small things. For example, tabs are already made, or let's say tables are already made. Many things are already made.
Okay.
And you just have to add a particular name, and then it automatically becomes that.
Right. See,
so these two things are completely different. Actually, Bootstrap is a framework which is actually attempting to make it easy for you, and material design is a completely different visual concept. It's a design concept. So Bootstrap doesn't offer any design concept as such. So I'm not sure what you're asking, what your question is exactly.
See, he is talking about UI pattern. Now I understand. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
UI pattern. Do you have anything to say? I mean, you've been developing websites, right?
Yeah.
So when you talk about patterns, they are fixed patterns, right? For a tab, a particular tab has got to function this way, and I can see why you are, thinking that they both could be same, because ultimately in the demo, Google shows how things should be, right? How a particular image should be shown, or how content should be shown, right? It's another pattern. But what Google showed is only examples. What he's asking us to do is to take off. He's asking designers to take off on the main concepts and go to different other levels, right? Tomorrow I can come up with a whole new screen with a totally different looking way it assembles itself or things like that, but based on the basic principles. Like, what was the basic principle in Google? He said when you tap, it should be like a circle, right? So the circle spreads, right?
Ripples, yeah.
Right. So exactly. So the metaphor that they actually wanted to capture by the ripples part, right? Windows is already doing that. I don't know, when you click on Windows 7 anywhere, you will see the ripple, haven't you?
Yeah. In the taskbar.
Yeah, I mean anywhere on empty screen, when I tap, I see a small ripple come and fade away. It's nothing new, but what these people are trying to do is they're trying to fill the ripple and change the screen.
Yeah.
It will be a single color that fills the screen. So it's just a method of transition.
Yeah, transitional interfaces.
All effects, transition effects, they are mentioned, and you can come up with your own transition, right? And with the base principles that they have, you can come up with an entire different interface altogether. If you've noted Facebook paper, Did you see that? Has anybody seen paper, the app?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Now the interface is very new, right? They
Yeah,
use a metaphor like cards. There are
yeah,
several like play cards at the bottom, and then you
yeah.
can choose one of them. Now that's that's based on the metaphor called cards, right? It's not
Yeah.
a liquid profile, but it's more of a solid card, a two-dimensional card. So the
Hmm.
card has essentially two faces, right?
Yeah.
So a card can fold, a card can, things like that. But what the card can never do is it cannot flow.
Hmm.
The width cannot increase or decrease. It's fixed.
Yeah.
Now that's the metaphor they've used. In for Google, Google says it's liquid. Means it'll take the shape of the area, whatever area, right?
Hmm.
So everything just flows like the text within the box, the colored box. Not only the colored box increases or decreases with the increase or decrease of the screen, but even the text flows. Those days, now we're actually going back to way, way back when HTML, we used to do liquid designs, okay,
Yeah.
where we use tables. We didn't have divs at that time, okay. We had
Hmm.
tables and all the content should be inside the table. So to make the table fluid, we used to have 100% width. So when you change the size of the browser, the text will also inside the table will spread or will wrap based on the available size. The same thing with responsive sites and all that. So anyway, that's a design language or the way the look and feel is what Google is promoting. What you have is a set of UI patterns. You take the tabs, you can use it only that way, right?
Yeah.
What do you say, Shuja?
Yeah, exactly, Max. Agree with
You
you.
can't
So
change it. Here we are
basically,
able to
what
change.
will actually happen in near future itself? I mean, I have actually seen some of those things. There will be custom themes created in Bootstrap itself, which will resemble material design. So you see, material design is mostly about the visual part and how the UI is actually. There's a link that I've shared in the chat menu. It's about transitional interfaces. So when you see
Right.
that, you'll actually get a good idea about what material design is actually doing. Something just doesn't appear from nowhere. So there has to be a transition. So that is what they focus on. Bootstrap doesn't have that thing as of now. Animations are not there that properly in Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is majorly what do you say? Use Bootstrap for the front end development. It eases the front end development, but use the material design for the visual concept, the UI language. So a combination of both would be really good if that's something that
Sujat,
answers your
so
question.
we never got to hear what Sujat does. What do you do, Sujat?
Uh, Actually, I'm a SharePoint developer.
Okay.
Hmm.
SharePoint.
Yeah, SharePoint.
Awesome.
So
And
I'm the administrator come developer for a intranet portal. So there has been like there has been already I mean always a contradict between the people who use our site the user experience what they feel, you know, what I'm mostly concerned is to increase the more user rate. I just want to understand how a user sees, like the way you said the concept of how a design should be, how user testing should be.
knowing SharePoint, let me give you something.
Yeah, yeah.
The SharePoint has its own style. Like if you want to save, there's a way, there's a method, right? Now, what
Hmm.
I've done in most of any revamps for SharePoint, I've
Hmm.
tried to remove as much of unnecessary UI elements possible.
Hmm.
Okay? I don't know which version of SharePoint you're using right now.
I'm sorry.
2010. It's 2010.
I'm sorry, but can I know what SharePoint is?
Okay, SharePoint is a Microsoft platform. Okay,
It's a
it,
web-based platform actually.
it's a web-based
On
Microsoft platform, and essentially it's like everything is pre-built, but you got to still put everything together.
All right. It's for web,
It's
domain
for
web
web.
space.
it's a purely web.
All right.
It has a built-in emailing system. It has a documentation. You
It
know,
has it has also a tight integration with different products of Microsoft. Like you can integrate Office with SharePoint. Like you can integrate Link with SharePoint. You can integrate your Excel, and like you can even work offline and sync with SharePoint. It's a one solution for your Office requirements. Like you can,
So
in case if you
it's
want to
mainly
make a
for
paperless environment.
it's mainly done for intra business things or what? I mean, like,
Not only for intranet, you can also build for public either.
but
okay.
basically it's like an intranet. Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
it's a
Right.
it's a
Actually, what do you think, Mansoor? I mean, I've seen this, especially for the intranet websites and most of these, what you say, software as a service applications.
yeah,
Even in hospitals or any institutions, they have very bad internet.
yeah.
I mean, what's the
See,
reason?
that is the biggest problem. That is the biggest problem. The problem is when people wanted to move online, right? Those days, right? People
Yeah.
invested a lot. I mean, those days software was not cheap. You don't see some of the options you're getting these days, and it's not scalable, and it's really a pain. They're very slow. The screens look so bad, you won't believe it. Everything will look tabular in nature. PDF,
Okay.
right? It's
Yeah.
tabular. Everything is tables only. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter whether you are looking at a blood report or you are looking at anything else, right?
True.
It's
True. True.
tabular. Now, to break that, people have tried, now your interfaces are Web 2 compliant, everything is like sleek and very nice and all that. But
Mm.
the problem is, what will the institutes do? They've already invested a lot. They
Okay.
paid a
Okay.
lot of money. They paid a lot of money to customize it to their needs, and then they are only now at the maintenance or maybe after maintenance. They just pay a little bit of amount, even then still paying for marginal maintenance, right? Once
Yeah.
they pay, they get stuck, and and it's not like they don't want to upgrade. These people when they want to upgrade, they're asking for they're asking for more money.
Yeah.
It's like as though
Actually.
it's like we have to do it from scratch like that, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even want to look at their legacy database. They say, yeah, we will provide you with a fresh database, that is more scalable, right?
Mm.
And they
Yeah.
will say, okay, go with the web. Why do you want a local storage? Your headache maintaining servers. Go with web. I'll put you on to Amazon or digital cloud or something like that,
Yeah.
right? And don't be worried about your data because it will get duplicated all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And
So
even if
that's
an earthquake
most of
comes,
them are going cloud now.
absolutely. But what will the institutions do? They didn't spend like few lakhs.
I get it.
They
Yeah.
spent crores.
Hmm.
Okay. Now when you go back and tell them you spent another crore, we'll make it better for you. They're not going to buy it,
Yeah.
right?
True. 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 True.
Unless you're going to really there's a change in something that is so drastic. But who's going to change the way they build? They're going to add new stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, who's going to change those, basic things? They'll just continue the way it is. I saw a documentation system in the Middle East. Okay, this
Okay.
this is like a courier tracking system, but they call it documentation tracking system. Okay, for them, a courier package is called a document. I don't know how they came up with that terminology. God only knows. You should look at their system. It was built, I think, possibly when Windows 95 was probably at that time there was some .NET program, something like that, right? all the screens are blue, everything is at table, you use filters, right?
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
it's like a little better than Excel. Okay, not even the modern Excel, the old Excel, right? And they spent a lot of money. That system actually is the system does the guy working on the system does so much work than the system.
Okay.
What's the point? See, the first
Uh,
thing I go and my job is a technical consultant. Okay, I'm not UXD is a part and parcel of that, but
okay.
we kind of give solutions, right? It's kind
Yeah.
of a solution provider. So there's these big problems, and big clients they come to us. They say, "We have this problem. How do we solve it?" Right?
Yeah.
Uh, and you look at all their stuff that they already have, and
Mm.
you say, "You're not making use of why the computer was ever built. The computer was built so that it can help you. Looks like you're helping the computer." I saw these huge bags, man, so much money. You won't believe the amount of money they have. We're top class of the world, right? You
Yeah.
should see why they employ half the people. Is to work for the software. See, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
And imagine this, new branches come up, each one of them adopting a separate independent database. Like even today, go to ICICI, branch
Yeah.
A cannot talk to branch B. Go to branch B and say, here's a check, or can I withdraw some cash using cash withdrawal slip?
Mm.
He said, what's a branch? So why do you ask me
Mm.
that? So you go to your branch, the way you opened your account, and you'll be able to withdraw cash there.
Yeah.
And I have to travel all the way there. And I live at Nilagiri. And the way I opened my branch in Greaves Road, you tell me, can't they have a common database, a place, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But guess what? The ATMs are all hooked up. They have a centralized system. It's crazy, man. These guys, they won't progress. Okay? How
Yeah.
many of you here have ICICI bank account?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
ICICI was the first to come in banking, in internet banking. Okay. Everybody else just sucked so badly that you can't get any work done. ICICI, you can learn and get work done. You can learn at least. One guy shows you how to do it, you can probably replicate that and you can probably remember it and do it. Okay? It's the first bank to ever let you transact all over the country to another account and stuff. So it worked. Okay? But the interface was so bad. And the first revamp came now, 2014. They ultimately revamped everything, right? They
Okay.
revamped the whole thing, and that's it.
Go with
I'm lost
setting.
again. I'm totally lost again. I don't know who the
Ah.
designer was. He's
Okay.
like categorized, okay, everything, and I don't know where to find what.
Do you think the design institutions are at fault? Because when you talk about design institutions in India, there are only two or three. I mean, one is IDC.
Yeah,
Okay, that's in IIT Bombay, and there are just few others that are there.
we
Who are
are
actually
not
doing
yeah.
fashion design.
National
We
Institute
don't
of
have any
Design.
design institutions anywhere in
Yeah,
India, especially.
see, on the whole, they are doing an awesome job. The students coming out of these design institutes are awesome, right? At least
Okay.
why I have to use the word awesome is everybody else is self-learned, okay,
Yeah.
and they don't understand designer's design. Let me put it that way. I got trained, even including me. If it hadn't been that if it hadn't been so that I got trained by somebody from this institute with a 10-year
Mhm.
experience, I would have been one among the thousands who have no proper context of what design, art, or anything is.
All
Okay,
right.
we are all, most of the people that you find in India into
Hmm.
design are reactive design. They cannot create anything from scratch.
Hmm.
They react to existing design. They react to what is already there. Now, their
Okay.
reactions could be different based on how much they have read up or consumed, but
Yeah.
it doesn't go back to the roots of design, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't go
Yeah.
back to the solving a problem kind of a thing. You
Hmm.
give him a website that all he knows is website. The structure, the language, the UI, the drop downs, all he can talk about is that. He will not look at the problem, he will not look at what the real problem is, right?
Right.
Or he cannot even bring about a problem so that he can provide solution. He
Okay.
is the interface guy. That's it.
Yeah.
But when you come down to why anything got ever invented in this world, like the wheel, now I'll almost have to take an art class or an invention class, a process of discovery, in order to
Hmm.
completely explain what happens, right? But it's like
Yeah.
this. It comes from a need, right? Everything happens with
Yeah.
need. I want it. I want it done. But it matters how much you want it. And it differs from people to people. Some people want some things more than other people do. But those that want it, like they can't live without it, think of a way, right,
Yeah.
to build a bridge across the river, right?
True.
Something like that. So that's how inventions come about, and it's deep rooted. Now, inventions are such. Now, where does design come in play?
When there's a problem, solution.
No, inventions solve the problem.
Okay.
Where does design come? Where does the form factor come?
Make it usable. Make it work.
Make it work with ease,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
fact about making it work, it'll do.
Hmm.
But how easy is it to do it? What can make it more easy, right? And not only, okay, I've ultimately created one masterpiece. It's so damn easy. Everything is great. There's no one bit flaw with it,
Yeah.
except it's not easy to duplicate. Now what? Right?
Yeah.
What's the point?
True.
So, what do you mean then? Then I should look at this aspect also. Of course,
Yeah.
you need to create so all aspects of it, right?
Yeah.
All aspects. Then there came a guy who said, it's still not good enough. So everybody turned to him and said, why? Now you can duplicate it. I'm able to use it. Everything is fine, man. It looks so ugly. I say, yes. So let's give it some beauty, right? So
Yeah.
ultimately, so many factors come for perfection. They all have to come in one synergy, one balance. A bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of this. No, none of them should over dominate the other. They
Yep.
all have a part to play, but they'll play a specific role and that role only.
Hmm.
How many clients have you seen? I'm sure everybody must be really irritated with that. And the
Yeah.
client comes and says, I don't like the color.
I know. I know. And especially when they have no, taste in color.
They're supposed to look at so many other things. And you'll be like, see how fast it's getting the data. See how it's awesomely displayed. See how it's getting the, and he looks at everything and he says, I don't like this. That's all he can say. He doesn't even finish a sentence. It's like, what do you don't like? So imagine the hours of the effort people would have put in it, amount of research that went into it, money, and
Yeah,
finally the client looks at it and says, "I don't like it." You literally tear your hair, right?
I know.
Like it'll be color, some non-trivial, stuff like that,
I know.
and essentially all he wants is a new coat of paint, and you'll be thinking, this guy didn't need the redesign at all. Why did I redesign the entire web?
I know.
and
That's
such a
interesting.
and such a price point. If you're freelancing, they'll
Yeah, 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 yeah.
they'll rip you out. They'll
I
get a
know.
lot of work done out of you and pay you peanuts. And finally, it'll just be equal to all your transport. Then you'll be wondering, why did I put so much effort? If you only had complained about the colors, I would have done that on the same day.
That's a huge thing. Actually, people don't know what they want.
Very true. So that's why they say this as a blanket, rule. They say never listen to a user.
Yeah, just observe them.
It means don't listen to them literally.
Okay.
If he says he doesn't like a site, you find out why, and he will say color. He doesn't like that color. Most likely, the color may be fine.
Hmm.
It's just maybe the overuse of it.
Yeah.
So you should try and work with that a little more till you actually execute the. He says he doesn't like this color. Then immediately you change the color. He says, I don't like this color. Dude, I've finished everything in the rainbow. What more do you want?
Yeah.
Because you overused it. Any color will look too much.
True.
So he was not satisfied.
Yeah.
So this is what there's a simple example people give to say this point, that
Yeah.
it may not be even the color. It may be how you have used the color.
Yep.
So let's let's wrap it up. I guess it's
Sure, sure, sure.
way
It
late.
was a wonderful time, yeah.
Me too.
I mean, they were great insights. I agree to that. So let's
I had
meet
a
up
lot of
again.
fun. I had a lot of fun looking back, looking back. It's nice to sometimes spend some time and get out all the nuances about all the trouble, all the things that we go through, and see that everybody else is also facing the same things, right?
Yeah, it is. It
It kind
is.
of gives you, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one out
True.
making beautiful design. There's so many factors, and I see myself, even with so many years of experience, every product is new to me, and I tend to concentrate, some or the other. It just so happens that you tend to concentrate on one thing or the other, and not all the factors, right? The
Yep.
balance is sometimes difficult.
Yep. It's important.
Yeah. So I guess every single project I do, even small little projects, only because I can learn something new. And mobile is something so new, even though it's been like what now, 3 years,
Yeah, just
3 years since its boom. But
yeah,
I would still say
7 years.
there's so much to learn. There's just so much to learn because it's totally a new medium.
And
It's not like
not
a
just
website.
that, they have just started with wearables, right? Have you looked into that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
even a
it's
big
getting
challenge.
easier by the day, right?
I know,
Joe,
it's interesting.
I was actually celebrating big screens. Trust me. When the very first Nokia smartphones came out, they were a chunk.
Uh,
Okay, they weighed
Same.
quite a bit. They were huge, but the
Yeah.
screens will be so small. The max that me and my colleague we called the top guys in the city. We said, bring all the phones you've got. And the biggest screens that we got was 1.3 by 1.5 inch.
Okay.
That was the largest screen in that model,
Okay.
and it was an awesome design. It had a roller for navigation.
Was it the fat one? Nokia 6666.
The I'm talking about phones that are even more earlier than that.
What? Even more?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's like they had a roller, okay, and it's a black and white screen, and it's completely the technology that was built in was WAP technology. That's the equivalent of HTML now.
Okay.
WAP was popularized
Yeah.
by Europe.
Yeah. Internet, right? It used to be
Yeah. So
biggest.
it used to be like card. You got to imagine everything like a card. There'll be a long set of menus by the time you reach content, right? Like four or five levels of menus
Yeah.
before we actually look at something.
Mm. True.
We used to make these small websites called map websites, right? And they were
Yeah.
there. They were there quite popular even at
I
2003
remember we used to
or
download wallpapers using those
exactly,
wallpapers and songs.
exactly. Did they end with dot WAPS? I'm not sure.
And I don't remember.
Yeah, but they're so small. The file sizes
Yeah.
5K, 10K.
True.
Image used to be 15, 25K. It take a long time. Sony
I know.
Ericsson phones brought it out. They were the first ones to have color.
Yeah, I
Remember?
remember. Yeah, yeah. Sony phones. Yeah.
Yeah, 6600 was a Nokia phone, kind of a oddly shaped, really fat.
I know. But that was like the most amazing phone that we had seen back then.
Yeah, Java phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was. It has MP3. Yeah. It has MP3. It had camera.
right. And then don't forget Sony Ericsson 9500.
Those were the music edition phones or something. I don't know.
You forgot the 9500. The one that looked like a brick. So you got to open from the side. Like the pencil boxes. It's like a
Uh,
mini computer. It had a fax machine.
okay,
It
okay,
had
okay, okay, okay.
it
I
had a
think I
double
remember.
it had a double screen. It had one screen on the top with the
Yeah.
dial pad, and then you open it. It's like a mini laptop.
All right, all right. One of my friends has one, but that's not from Sony. Maybe that's.
Right. I had two, and then they finally stopped working. My
Hmm.
wife used to love it because it had the keyboard, and SMS was off.
Yeah.
That was the most practical stuff I got out of that. People used it for fax, by the way, to send and receive fax because it had a fax chip in it.
Nice.
So anyway, chalo,
Nice.
let's meet up again. Hopefully,
Sure, sure.
I guess
Gokul,
the
do you have
traction
anything?
was less. Where all did you post about the Google Plus Hangout?
Yeah. What?
Where all was it advertised? This
Uh,
Hangout,
yeah.
where all did you advertise it?
Okay, so there's a Facebook group for UX
Okay.
and UI designers. So I
Okay.
mean, like, mostly I'm active there. Many people are active there. So I posted it there, and we have a WhatsApp group of like 40 to 50 UX designers. So this is from there itself. So what we thought
Okay.
is like maybe Facebook is not that friendly for them. So we thought WhatsApp is something that we use every day, right? So we
Right.
made a group there. So it was that and Google Plus. So these are the only places. And it was a fact. Actually, I read about Hangouts and all. They were like, how much ever people, RVSP at the end, only 10 to 15% are going to attend it.
Right. 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 That is good.
Anyways, it's a good start. I think it's a good start.
We can definitely drive. Maybe the timing can be a little different, perhaps. Uh, a little earlier may help some of the people
True
to
that.
join. Maybe not very, but maybe 10 o'clock or something.
I know. Actually, initially I did think of 10 o'clock, but there was a what do you say? The other guys insisted on 11 o'clock because it's a weekend and all. They come from office a little bit late, and
I
once
know,
everything
I
is
know.
done, dinner and all, they just wanted to sit.
Right, right, right.
So let's see.
Chalo, keep in
All
touch.
right. Sure.
I'm looking at tools these days, for mobile prototyping.
Well,
Uh,
there are some that I have worked on. I mean, I would
anything
love
where
to
I,
show them.
anything where we are able to directly put on the phone as well, because the only good one that I found was Proto IO. Okay.
Proto.io is a very high fidelity one. Okay, I mean, like, I've used that one, and it's like it gives you many what do you say functionalities and all.
Yeah, I
So
want it at that level because I do all the wireframing on
well,
PowerPoint.
then that is the
Okay.
best one.
Uh,
Right. I mean, that's the one that we use. So there's a US-based startup where we're working, like where I got my replacement offer. So that's when they actually bought an account so that we could actually use it. Otherwise, we couldn't have anyone.
right.
So yeah, that is when I used it. It is very high fidelity. I mean, the levels are really good, and actually you can use it on the iOS. So what you have to do is it actually generates a URL, right?
Right, right. I know.
So you have to go.
I wanted to
Yeah.
know if you know any other, and especially free ones for people to try out more. If this one
Yeah.
costs you
So
$24 a month,
exactly. So at that high fidelity, only that is the one. If you are
right?
talking about something, what do you say, low fidelity, then this is the one that I
I
use.
know they are hot with it.
Marvel app, and there's an InVision.
Yeah, yeah. Most of them are, screenshots, and you gotta.
Exactly.
That's
So those things are, obviously they are free. Otherwise, they won't be free.
maybe I should find a way to run PPT on iOS.
That would be good.
Yeah, or Flash markup because it's the interaction part. These days, very good point that I was trying to bring on today, but I guess it's too late. Everybody's left.
Yeah.
Especially on how to design for this kind of Android uh, liquid form, right?
Yeah, transition interfaces, right?
How do you like prototype for it? Is
Hey,
there any tool that he has advertised?
you use OS 10? I mean, you use Mac?
No.
So actually, there's a what do you say? There was a program in Mac which was
Okay.
called Quartz Composer.
Quartz Composer. Okay.
So what Quartz Composer used to do is like it's a visual kind of programming thing. So you connect some nodes and all. So basically, you can build what do you
Right,
say?
right, 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 right,
So
right.
it was something like that. And what happened is like the Facebook guys, so the ones who made paper, so that is how
Right,
they actually prototyped paper. So they
right,
used Quartz Composer and they built a library over it. And using that, they built a tool by which you can, actually. Wait a second. I'll just see the URL for that, and I'll just give it to you. So if at all you get a chance to use it, then
yep,
actually that's very it has high fidelity, and you can actually make a wonderful prototype.
right.
So that's one, and there's another one called framer.js, but that's mainly JavaScript based.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that one as well.
Yeah, so sometimes it's not that it's not that designer friendly as it is.
See, I want to give it to the, graphic designers, whatever.
I know
But
even Origami has a what do you say? Even the Spark Composer has a very high learning curve. So,
right,
and they are trying to come up with new softwares. Okay? There's one called Avocado and all. People are trying nowadays, and
okay.
they say even Apple is trying to come up with a new, what do you say,
They,
software, especially
yeah,
for this.
Xcode, they are trying to expand Xcode. Now they have
Exactly.
the Photoshop
Yeah,
plugin, and it kind of brings in all the screenshots. But that again is, yeah, that I have to write code for, swiping.
I know, I know. I mean,
It's
everything,
still,
especially this one, has come out in the past last year. So actually, this I'm sending you a link on what do you say, the chat. So this is
okay.
the article that actually induced, all of these transition interfaces. Well, revolution in the past 1 year. So it was this
Right.
article, after reading which people all began like there should be transitions, smooth transitions and all. And this has been started to, what do you say, getting involved in these prototyping softwares. So everyone
Right.
is starting to build something or the other which involves this from the past 1 year. So what I'm
Right.
thinking is this is the year when we'll see the upcoming year. We'll see most of the uh, softwares that will help us do that easily.
Very true.
So yeah, all right,
Take
actually,
care, yeah. Shut up.
yeah,
It was nice getting
all
in
right.
touch.
Good night, Gokul. Anything you want to say?
No, that's it. I just wanted to be a spectator. I actually saw your mail saying that there'll be already 10 email IDs subscribed, and I would just have to be a spectator. So I thought I'll just be a spectator. However, I got a chance to participate in this conversation. That's great.
That's a
And I,
persuasion.
Gokul, Gokul, don't feel, left out. Don't be a spectator. Ask a lot of questions. You
Yeah,
know.
no, the thing is, I'm actually new to UI and UX. As in, I do designing, but I am not much aware of what UI and UX exactly stands for.
Right.
So
I
I
hope
just
you
wanted
got an
to.
insight.
I did. It was very useful.
Okay. Okay.
and we will keep on having some more meetups, and we will have some what do you say topics from next times. I mean, we'll focus on particular things
That
in
would be great.
general,
Yeah. I'll make
so
sure
that
I add
that
the.
might help you.
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll add myself on the Facebook page that you had mentioned. If you could just put on the link over here, I'll add myself.
Sure, 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 sure. Sure, that'll be done.
Great, great. So, thank you.
All right, Gokul. Thanks, Mansoor. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mr.
thanks.
Thank you. Good night, and
Take
thanks
Yeah.
for
care.
all the
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.